Good evening, everyone, from Burger Field at Holtville Vikings football field in Holtville, California. I'm Will Torrez. We are VSN. With us is not Ron Rubio. Special guest with us tonight, helping me call my play-by-play and doing a little bit of color with me. The great duel from the South End, Mr. Vic Carrillo and Johnny Moreno. Welcome, guys, and thank you for helping us out right here at VSN.
Well, thank you very much, Will. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here at Burger Field as we witness the Imperial Valley Classic between Holtville and Imperial, kicking off the last non-league game for the 2021 season before everyone embarks on league play starting tomorrow night. This game originally scheduled for Friday night as Friday night lights would come in, but we're getting an extra head start here, having Friday night lights on Thursday. And as a result, it gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce to you the voice of choice, the real deal, John Moreno Brown.
Vic, there's no place I'd rather be than with Will Torrez, you, and Joaquin Matus, and of course Sarah Rubalcaba, right here at Burger Field in Holtville, the Imperial Valley Classic. League starts tomorrow, but for all practical purposes, this could be league.
Well, Holtville comes in with a 5-0 record thus far, and Imperial 3-2, and they've shown constant improvement during the preseason. But throw those records out tonight, John. This tradition goes back over 100 years. Tell us about that.
Well, back in 1915, when things were happening in the Imperial Valley, not much was here, but a lot of empty space. There was football, 1915, and we look back at that. Calexico scheduled played Imperial, Holtville, Yuma, and El Centro, and that's over 106 years ago. And I think Imperial was the first one to establish the high school, so this goes way back to the time when the automobile was just invented.
Well, John, you know, there's a lot of similarities. They're both small towns, one on the west end, Imperial, and Holtville on the east end. But Will, tell us, since both teams are now in two different leagues and two different levels of play, does officiating become a factor or styles of play?
Well, let's fast forward here to when it was back then when everybody was in the same league, and then we'll fast forward to now. So to answer your question about the refereeing, no, it does not change at all. In fact, the competition, Holtville being in Division 5, Imperial being in Division 3, you know, it's the same style of football. So the only difference is that a couple of years ago, Imperial made that jump to the IVL. Holtville is in that same situation. I was talking to Coach Turner earlier, and that's his goal. It started last year. He had the team to go. And, you know, that team he had last year was just a phenomenal team, right? The good thing about Turner, what he's doing and what he's building here in Holtville, he's keeping that momentum going with this team. This team that he's fielding today, they're trying to go underneath the radar, Vic. They're trying to be not seen. You know why? Because they're good. They're good. They walk the talk is what I'm trying to get at, Vic.
You know, that talent is family bred because there's 8 sets of brothers, several sets of twins here on the team. And the coach, Jason Turner, in the pregame interviews that we had on August 13th at the football carnival at Southwest High School, was preaching family. And that, John, is very evident here tonight with all the blood-related players for Holtville. What do you say about that?
Well, there's 4 sets of families that are playing for the Holtville program, freshman to 12th grade, and to me that says a lot about the community. That says a lot about the opportunities that Holtville has, and that the Valley has that too. You know, you go to Brawley, you go to Central and Southwest, you see those families out there playing football. You go back in, Calexico, we had the families. That was the thing to do. You know, you were my older cousin, and everybody played football, so that was the thing. That was a rite of passage to play for your high school football team.
And, we talk about the small town effect and the advantages. We all became good friends throughout high school because of the competition that started back in Little League. And I had the great pleasure when I walked up the bleachers to see Wayne Carty, retired El Centro fireman from the class of '68. I hadn't seen him in 53 years, John. Can you believe it?
Wow, 53 years. Gentlemen, let's get ready for our national anthem. Still to the day, get chills. That's what I tell my partner, Ron Rubio. VSN, Will Torres, Vic Carrillo, John Moreno will be right back after this.
Back to the 25, 35, cuts to the right, 40, 45, and he's going to make it all the way up to the 49-yard line. So
Welcome back, everyone. Will Torres, Vic Carrillo, and John Moreno, special guests with us tonight. And let me introduce tonight's referees before we talk a little about the teams right here. Head referee John Seaman, umpire will be Sean Laughlin. Head linesman will be James Bentley. Line judge Roman Rubio, and back judge talented Michael Garcia. Vic, what does the Imperial Tigers coach David Shaw have to do to win this game? Even they're playing out of their league, they cannot let their guard down at all. What's Imperial going to have to do tonight?
Well, first of all, the tradition rides strong here where the teams throw out the records out the window and they come here to play a longtime rival, regardless of what league they were in, whether it was the Manzanita, the Desert, the Imperial Valley League, what have you. Speaking with David Shaw during the week, he wants to establish the run. He wants to establish control of the trenches. They want to run behind 305-pound tackle Wolfgang Horner, who will be playing on the left side. And if they can establish the run with a freshman quarterback, Reese Vindiola, and do everything back is C.J. Turner, who's played at quarterback. He'll be lining up at running back. We might see him at times flanked out as a wide receiver, but they want to score first, score often, and put Holtville on the defensive.
On the thing with Coach Shaw, and he's not shy to tell you that's what he wants to do. Talking to Coach Turner, one thing I noticed about him when I was talking about my opinion about what I thought, Holtville needed to do, he was calm, he was cool, and he was relaxed. Vic, what did Coach Turner have to say?
Turner wants to come in with a balanced attack. He'd like to run the ball more behind the duo of the Eiton brothers, Seth and Peyton. Peyton, the leading ball carrier for the Holtville Vikings with over 550 yards rushing, and their leading receiver is Mason Toten, who's caught 8 passes, but 6 of them for touchdowns. And so with the passing skill of Spencer Hilfiger and the running attack led by the Eiton brothers, Holtville wants to also take control. So I think, John, it's going to be an old-fashioned smash-mouth type of football game.
Absolutely. This is what it's all about. This is the game before league, but like I said, this feels just like a league game. And kicking off tonight for the Imperial Tigers is Ethan Gonzalez Lopez. Back to receive, we have Peyton Eiton, and number 9 is Dorian Mays. As we get set for the kickoff here with the Imperial Valley Classic at Burger Field in Holtville, the Imperial Tigers and the Holtville Vikings.
And it's a beautiful fall evening for football.
Beautiful, beautiful night. You know what? Good company, too, may I say that. All right, let's go.
End over and kick. It'll go to Mays out inside the 10. He'll field it coming this way. He'll cross the 15, breaks a tackle going up to the 20, and still on his feet here in the near sideline, going down the 50, the 45, 40, 35, dog all the way. Dorian Mays, touchdown! Holtville on a kickoff return from inside the 10 at the far sideline. Bring it all the way down to the home bench and into the end zone for the Holtville Vikings.
We're all stunned up here a little bit, but nobody else from this Holtville community is stunned one bit. It's good to see Holtville come out like that. They have to prove a point. Last year, Ronnie and I witnessed the Brawley game, and let me tell you, they came out the same way. The key for Coach Turner, and I mentioned this to him, do not take your foot off the pedal if this happens again.
Well, preparation is the key here during the week because you saw the picket fence develop. So that meant that they spent time working on special teams, kickoffs, kickoff returns, punt returns, extra points, and what have you. And it was evidence there with 11:44 remaining in the first quarter. Holtville draws first blood, 6-0.
Hilfiger going to pitch it and trying to turn it up the field is number 21. That is Peyton Knighton. Penalty flags.
We're going to have penalty flags, and depending, of course, on who it's on, the offense or on the defense. But he did score, so it's going to be a personal foul, face mask. It'll be against the Imperial Tigers, assessed on the kickoff, but good for 2 points. That in this type of game, that could come back and help them.
Well, you know, when they played Calexico 2 weeks ago, they were successful on all their 2-point conversions in the first half, and it ultimately paid off because Calexico came up 1 point short, losing 29-28 in the last seconds of the ball game.
And that's with Calexico going for the 2 at the end of the game, right? Which, I mean, they fell short, but they knew they had to do that. So good strategy by the Holtville Vikings. Once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors. So with less than 20 seconds into the game, Holtville Vikings strike first with the score 8-0, of course, 11-14. I'd like to thank some of our sponsors. Reach Air Medical Service. Patient care is the #1 priority, assuring calmness, security, and comfort. Recognized for our compassion, medically effective methods for patient transport. Fast, safe, and reliable. As we get ready for the Holtville kickoff, John.
Padilla will go end over end, and it'll probably go into the end zone as it does. And there will be no return for the Imperial Tigers. They'll get the ball at the 20 coming up.
You know, Johnny has 9 kickoffs this young season, and 5 of them have been for touchbacks. So he's got a powerful leg. I know you alluded to it 2 weeks ago when they played Calexico that he may have a future playing on Saturdays.
Yeah, the way he's kicking, he should.
Now, with the Imperial Tigers, you know, getting their first touch on the ball right here on the offensive side, starting, they have 80 yards to go. Now, I'm not saying they have to score because it's way too early in the game, but they do have to have an impressive drive on this one.
1st and 10, double doubles, first quarter. First play of the game for the Tigers. Reese Vindiola out of the shotgun, call the signals. He'll take the snap. He's handing it off to Seth Shaw. Stumbles, but does get a first down and more. He'll pick up 12 on the carry.
Defensively, the Vikings go with Betancourt, Elliot Ortiz, Smith Hilfiger in the front 3. The linebackers are Andres Luna, Daniel Ledesma, and Mason Toten. The defensive backs are Mays, Velarde, Johnston, Garcia, and Peyton Knighton. Offensively for the Tigers are going with freshman quarterback Reese Vindiola wearing jersey number 7. The running backs are Seth Shaw and number 6, Christopher Turnan. The wide receivers are Jesse Nichols, Dominic Suarez, and the leading receiver with 15 receptions, Alejandro Perez, wearing number 4.
1st and 10 at the 33. Looks like a handoff to Tiernan. And he'll get a couple of yards. It'll be bring up a 2nd and about 7. So a 2nd and about 7 at the 36-yard line for Imperial. Vindiola out of the shotgun. Tiernan in the backfield. Suarez split to the near side. Double-double formation. He'll take the shotgun snap and hand it off to Tiernan, going right side. Finds a lot of room up to the 40-45. A first down, Imperial. Move those chains.
Well, John, he spun at the 43-yard line of Imperial to get up to the 44, good enough for that first down. A good tackle by Dorian Mays, wearing jersey number 9, to make that stop.
No huddle offense, 1st and 10, right at the 44. Vindiola out of the shotgun, double doubles. He'll take the snap, looking over the middle. Almost intercepted as a pass was intended for number 4, Alejandro Perez, running a crossing route, will go incomplete.
John, one of the reasons they're moving those sticks on those first downs is that offensive line Vic talked about earlier. That's going to be the key for this game tonight, with that starting with Wolfgang right there. I mean, he is the key on that. He is that anchor on that line, on both sides of the ball.
And he's playing left guard with Jose Apodaca at center.
Wolfgang goes at 305, Apodaca 290.
And this time Tiernan will get the handoff going right up the middle. Gets about 3. In on the stop, number 21.
That was Peyton Manning, but he was slowed down by Peyton Eiten, excuse me. It's easy to say Peyton Manning. You know, aren't too many Peytons around. But anyway, Seth Eiten was the one that slowed him up first in the backfield.
3rd and about 6 for the Tigers at their own 48-yard line with double-double formation. Reese Vindiola, only a freshman, out of the shotgun.
Well,
Gives it to, he'll fake the dive to Naylor and keeps it, but gets nothing, as maybe a couple. No, he'll lose on that one.
Well, that was Turner playing quarterback. He was 6 for 6 last week in their victory over Gila Ridge from Yuma, John. And so tonight, David Shaw's plans are to move him all around like McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers. He started out at running back, then he went into quarterback. Right now in this play, we may see him at wide receiver.
Substituting freely.
So now they're in punt formation with that's Gonzalez.
Gonzalez takes the punt, will take to the 20-yard line. And Holtville will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20.
So before Holtville gets their second time on hands on their ball, I'd like to say thanks to Mr. Fred Miramontes, Undersheriff, reminds you that you can start a neighborhood watch program in your area. The Sheriff's Department Crime Prevention Unit can assist you by meeting with you and your neighbors. Give them a call at 442-265-2000. Back to the play-by-play with John Moreno.
1st and 10 for Holtville at their own 20. Hilfiker hands it off to Eiten. Number 24, that's Seth Eiten, going left side, and he'll pick up about 8 on the carry.
In to make the stop, number 23, Jeremiah Naylor, as the Tigers go with Ethan Reeves, Kai Bishop, Aiden Shields, and Naylor as linebackers. Cesenia, Horner, Valenzuela, the interior defensive line, will give you the defensive backs after this play.
2nd and 2 at the 29. Handoff to number 21, Peyton Eiten. And he'll take it to the 40, gets about 6. And it'll be a 1st down for the Vikings at the 39-yard line.
Well, free safety number 24, Seth Shaw, coming in to make the tackle. And that's not a good sign, Will, when you have your defensive backs making the tackles. That means the running backs already passed the line of scrimmage and reaching out to the linebackers and defensive backs.
Well, the good thing was for the Holtville Vikings is they had 2 lead blockers on that, and he was just reading his blocks on that, Vic.
Little crossbuck there from Hilfiker to Peyton Eiten, loses a yard.
And the reason there was a loss there, John, was the play of inside linebacker number 23, Jeremiah Naylor, who goes at 5'10", 190 pounds, an outstanding football player, but more importantly, John, a tremendous individual.
2nd and 11 for the Vikings. Oh, somebody's moving on the line, but
it looked like Naylor, who's now playing defensive end.
Shotgun snap. Hands it off to the sophomore, Eiten. Number 21, Peyton. And he'll take it up the right side and take it to about the 42.
Gentlemen, one thing I'm noticing, besides that last play right there, this game is being played in between the 2 hash marks right there. Both teams are in tight. You know, they're all inside the box. They're putting everybody inside the box. You know, we gave credit to that Imperial line on the offensive note, but this Holtville's proving that they can move the ball too.
3rd and about 7. Hilfiker dropping back, looking, has time. Being chased. Decides to keep lower his shoulder and hits someone. Goes out of bounds and bring up a 4th and long.
That tackle was by number 29 that was Zach Ray, who also plays the H-back on offense, but a fine defensive play there by Zach Ray. Well, Will, let's talk about the line blocking, since you have zone blocking and you have angle blocking. And who picks up the middle linebacker? it's usually the center, correct?
Well, to me, on that one of those previous plays, they were double teaming down on the tackle, and you had that wing back coming in there and lead blocking in through the 3-hole right there. And that just, once that, and so the running back just has to read his block on that. Once he gets past the linebackers, you know, it was one-on-one with the defensive backs.
A low snap will be picked up at about the 25 by Seth Shaw, who will run out of bounds.
So while we get ready for Imperial to take over on their second position, I'd like to say thanks to Graphic Industries Incorporated, where they offer a wide variety of services, including screen printing, vinyl graphics, embroidery, logo design, and promotional products. Make sure if you're going to get anything done to go by the north end over there, located in Brawley at 535 East Street. You can give them a call at 760-351-9312.
5:37 to go in this first quarter. We are 8-0 is the score. The Vikings on top. And we've got, looks like a full house backfield. And that's Vindiola pitching to Tiernan to the right side. Nothing there as he's running down this line of scrimmage, so it'll be a 2nd and 10.
Offensively, left or right, the Tigers like to go with number 78, Diego Valencia, number 58, Andres Gastelum. The center is number 62, Jose Apodaca, a 5'10", 290-pound center. Flanking next to him is Wolfgang Horner, number 70, and then rounding out the offensive line, number 56, Ethan Reeves. In the backfield, you have Seth Shaw along with Christopher C.J. Turnan. Reese Vindiola, the quarterback.
2nd and 10 from the 32.
Now the ball went to Naylor, John.
Naylor down up the middle. He'll pick up 3 in the first quarter. It'll bring up a 3rd already and about 6.
Naylor comes into tonight's game with 140 yards total. He's usually their short yardage situation man when they get inside the 10, John, in the red zone.
Uh-oh. Looks like we may have an offsides penalty on the Vikings.
That looked like number 42, Ben Bentoncourt, 6'3", 220, wanting to get in there, wanting to get a head start.
So they'll move the ball up very close to the first down marker. It'll be 3rd and short, 4:15 to go first quarter.
If you just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, a 93-yard electrifying kickoff return by Dorian Mays drew first blood for the Vikings, and they lead 8-0.
Vindiola, full house, backfield. He's handing it off to Tiernan, going to the right side, the 50, 45, 40. He could go all the way, but he's knocked out of bounds inside the 35-yard line, maybe at the 36. I'm sorry, the 26.
And that was number 21, Peyton Knighton, making sure he didn't hit pay dirt as he bumps him out of bounds there at the 24-yard line.
So a big first down for the Imperial Tigers as they're now inching closer to the red zone with Reese Vindiola out of the gun. Tiernan again gets the handoff right side, but is met pretty hard after a few yards.
Well, I can see the game plan starting to develop now by David Shaw. They want to get the ball in the hands of C.J. Turnan as often as they can.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed about the Imperial Tigers under David Shaw's direction, Vic, is that he's very good at adapting to other teams. He says he wants to throw that ball. He said he wants to open everything up, but he's very good at adjusting to opposing teams, and that's one thing I really like about Coach Shaw.
Tiernan gets the handoff and goes to the left side. Picks up a few. It'll be 3rd and about 4 for the Tigers, maybe 3rd and 3.
And that's a sign of a good coach because he wants to put his players in the best position to be successful.
Vindiola, Shaw in the backfield. Shaw will get it this time. And he'll be brought down by his shirt.
Is that a horse collar, John?
It looks could be, and the flag's all over the place.
So on that rule, on the horse collar rule, if you drag him from the collar or the jersey, if he goes backwards, it will be considered a horse collar. And if we saw that he did get dragged backward. Now, you can grab him from the collar and bring him down from the front, and it won't be considered a horse collar. But if you drag that and he goes backwards, then that's when they consider that the penalty. So that is the correct call right there, John.
And it's a personal foul. It's a 15-yarder.
That
Yes.
once happened to me in 1967.
Where it was
trying to,
legal? It
trying
was
to tackle
legal?
Willie Vasquez. My fingers got caught in his shoulder pads, and he dragged me for about 20 yards. So much for a horse collar.
1st and 10. Shaw gets the handoff, goes right up the middle, and is stopped right at the 5-yard line. So very close for the Tigers here in the first quarter. 2:16 to go.
So the defense of Smith, Hilfiger, Andres Luna, Elliot Ortiz, and Betancourt up front for the Vikings has to stiffen up here, John, as time is called.
Time is called with the Holtville Vikings. As soon as Imperial Tigers get close to that goal line right there, we have Coach Turner calling that timeout. Heart Insurance, insuring all your local community for over 70 years. If you want to, with insurance, please give Liz a call at 760-344-1400. Nava Commercial, Capital, and Real Estate. Whether you're buying your first home or your dream home, Nava Capital and Real Estate have your mortgage solutions. Contact George or Roseanne at 760-623-1050. Back to Johnny Moe.
Well, thank you, Will. Here it is. The Imperial Tigers on a 2nd and goal from the 5 with, it looks like Tiernan now at the quarterbacking position. And he's there with a full house backfield. I believe that's what you call it, Will.
Well, that's what they call it now, because in the old day it was just set up a little bit different.
Right, and Chris Tiernan decides to keep and loses a couple, maybe a yard.
You know, as the players are getting up off the ground, Will, we talk about blocking assignments. On the right side of the center, it's usually the 1 hole, the 3 hole, and the 5 hole. The left side, 2, 4, and 6. What are the Imperial Tigers doing here as far as they get closer to the goal line? Would it be zone blocking or angle blocking?
Well, you know, right now it's all man up front. In my opinion, it should be anything inside the 10-yard line. But one thing I'm noticing that's an advantage now on the defensive side. If you notice, everybody goes out of that shotgun position. So I think as a defensive player, that's an advantage, holding up your man up in front of you and then reaching back. So
Tiernan out of the shotgun, handing it off to number 4. That's Perez going the right side and can't get it in, and he's stopped by Dorian Mays.
Dorian Mays, number 9, 5'11", 170, outstanding defensive back for the Vikings and one of the leading tacklers on their team thus far.
They'll take a timeout with 1 minute, 4 seconds to go first quarter.
And before we let everybody listen to some of our sponsors here, one thing that's coming up on this 4th down, guys, is, look, Shaw got scored on first. He's already a different type of mode right now. I almost have a great feeling that he's not going to go for that field goal. This is 4th down territory for him. I mean, it's almost personal, you know. Hey, you know, that's just – but he brings that attitude. I mean, that's the way Coach Shaw – his players are like that. If you watch his son play, he's got that same mentality, that same attitude. It's drive the ball, drive, you know. So he plays that physical game. He talks that big game, and he backs it up. So that's part of the that's one of the good qualities we talked about Coach Shaw, Vic. So, I mean, power to him. I like that style.
Well, you're right. He was singing the hosannas about Ethan Gonzalez, his outstanding field goal kicker for the Tigers, wearing jersey number 13. He indicated if they were inside the green zone from the 30 to the 20 that he would probably kick the ball. But if they're in the red zone or inside the 10, as you say, mano a mano.
Tiernan on a 4th and goal from the 6, going in. He's going to hand it off. No, he's looking over the middle, crossing route, and incomplete. The pass intended for number 29.
Zach Ray,
and you were right. They went for it.
They went. Gentlemen, one of the things I saw while I was looking at Coach Turner right now, he's starting to show a little bit of emotion. Coach Turner is getting out of that mold, that cool collective. He knows this is a big game. You know, I know, listen, one of the most respected coach with over 20 years experience in Imperial Valley said one thing about Coach Turner's Holtville Viking team. Said they're well coached, and that's a true fact about Turner. Well coached team, and their defensive side just showed it right now.
So a 1st and 10, but way back inside the 10-yard line.
With 50 seconds to go in the first quarter, not a lot of passing. That's why this game's going kind of fast, guys.
Well, that was number 21, John.
Peyton Knighton. And he'll get a couple, well, more than a couple, he'll get 5.
So an outstanding defensive stand by the Holtville Vikings, denying the Imperial Tigers the score, and they've taken over on downs inside their own 10-yard line, and now they're out to the 11.
2nd and 5. Hilfiger will hand it off. Probably one of the Eiton brothers will take the handoff. Looks like he'll pick up 2. And it'll be a 3rd and about 4 for the Vikings.
So with less than 5 seconds to go, with the ending of the first quarter, of course you're seeing the score with the Holtville Vikings defensive stance. A word from our sponsors, Will Torrez, John Moreno, and Vic Carrillo will be right back. Welcome back, everybody, on a Friday night at Burger Field, Holtville, California. We're into the first quarter right now. Holtville Vikings with a beautiful defensive stance to stop the Imperial Tigers inside the 5-yard line. Holtville now has control of the ball right now, deep in their territory, but they did avoid them that. IID, Dippy Ducks official safety mascot, has been teaching children with water safety for more than 50 years. Recognizing the need for future education, say hello to Dippy Ducks mascot at IID.
Hilfiger hands it off. That is number 6 for the Vikings. Donovan Johnston. And he'll go back to the original, or gets a first down.
Offensively, they go with Alan Marquez at center. The guards are Austin Trevino and Alexis Roldan. The tackles are Smith Hilfiger and Cade Damaral.
1st and 10 from inside the 20. Another handoff. Looked like Johnston again. And this time, no, it's number 17. He's trying out some new runners, Vic. 17.
17 is Zephan Duarte.
Zephan Duarte will pick up 2.
What about Hilfiger? Just sitting back there like a field general directing people. I mean, you know, with that, you know, we talked about, like I said earlier, we talked about Imperial's line, but Holtville's proving on both sides that they can do the same thing with Spencer leading them as that field general out there.
I know, and he's got college size. He's 6'2", 220 at quarterback.
2nd and 8. Fakes the dive and hands it off.
And mind you, guys, they're running the ball right in between the tackles, right at the heart of the Imperial defense.
And that defense is manned by number 70, Wolfgang Horner, 6'2", 305 pounds. He's flanked by Diego Valencia, weighs 225, and Victor Cesena, another 225-pounder. And you have Brian Vasquez at 280, along with Diego Daniel Riesgo, 170.
3rd and 6 from the 23. A quick pitch to Seth Eiton. Peyton Eiton, going to the right side.
Brought down from behind by Jeremiah Naylor, the linebacker.
Will he get the first down? Pretty close to the first down marker.
It was a 3rd and 6, John. What did he get?
He got 5. It'll be 4th and 1.
So Hilfiger going back out. They're not going to be punting. They want to send a message now and early, John.
And that message is being received. So a 4th and 1. The ball at the 26. 2nd quarter. Hilfiger will take the snap and keep it. Go to the right side, gets about 10 yards. Move those chains for Holtville. 1st and 10 inside the 40 at the 37.
Brought down by number 32 of the Pablo Moreno of the Tigers. But not until Hilfiger was able to bowl his way up to across the 30 to the 37-yard line of Holtville. Holtville going right to left on your TV dial.
One thing that Coach Turner and I talked about, which was going to be key, was time possession of the ball control.
A handoff to Peyton Eiton. Peyton Eiton will get about 4. And the Imperial Tiger defense is right there. And you're right, Will. It's all just smash mouth. That's what you're seeing. Handoff up the middle from the Holtville Vikings.
Clock management is key right now in this type of game. That clock management. You control that clock, you know, everything's in your favor, especially when you got a lead. Even though it's a small lead, 8-0, a lot of things can happen. But a lot of time left on the clock to play, though.
8:40 to go, second quarter. Hilfiger will hand it off. 24, Seth Eiten, and will lose about 3.
Initial contact was made by number 53, Aiden Shields, 215-pound linebacker, and he was finished off by number 58, Andres Gastelum, 5'10", 180 pounds. So both sides of the ball, John, have some good size to them.
3rd and 9 for the Vikings. Back at their own 38-yard line. Hilfiger out of the shotgun. Man in motion. Fakes, looking over the middle. Shoots it hard. Goes incomplete. Intended for number 3 for the Vikings. That is Roger Rolfe running a
Crossing pattern, John.
route, yes.
He was split out to the far side, the right side, and ran 10 and in, and the ball was rifled to him right through his hands. A bullet pass, as Hilfiger has a very strong arm, but now the Vikings are forced to punt with 7:53 remaining. Here in the second quarter, they lead by a score of 8-0.
And Seth Shaw standing inside the 35.
Key on that last play was the time Spencer had to throw that ball. Big key.
End over end kick. Will look like it goes out of bounds, but it stays in bounds, and it'll be down right at the 31.
That was Mays downing the ball. So the Tigers will take over, John.
And don't forget, if to check scores, even though this is tonight's the only varsity game playing, don't forget to check scores tomorrow night at valleysportsnet.com, where VSN, where John Moreno and Vic Carrillo will be at Calexico at Ward Field, where Rookie Peña and his Central Spartans will visit the south border town of Calexico and take on the mighty Bulldogs down there. Big anticipation. We'll talk a little bit more about that game, guys, because there's a lot of talk going on behind the scenes. I want to get into that a little bit with you guys. So back to play-by-play with John Moreno.
1st and 10. Vindiola out of the shotgun. He'll hand it off. No, he does hand it off to Tiernan. And Tiernan, they're running that play, so you know he does a good job of pulling it back.
Well, number 21 for the Vikings in to make the stop there. That was Peyton Knighton.
So no gain and nothing there. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
Well, do you think we might see some trickery later in the game with having both quarterbacks in at the same time, that being C.J. Turnan and Reese Vignola?
I don't think so, Vic. I think that, you know, David Shaw will adjust to this. And you know, look, let's be honest right now. They're not playing their best football right now. You can't sugarcoat this stuff. They're just not. They're capable of playing that. They know they're capable of playing that, but they're just not playing it right now. But, you know, it's still, you know, we got 7:12 to go till the half. You know, Coach Shaw and his coaching staff will get that worked out, and they'll bring it to the table and see what happens after that.
Well, this is an excellent teaching tool and experience builder for Reese Vignola, who's only a freshman.
3rd and 10 from the incomplete pass. Vindiola looking, shooting, and the pass is caught in the left flat. Good enough for a first down, and that is number 25. That's Dominic Suarez. Move those chains for the Tigers. 1st and 10.
Suarez coming in with 11 receptions on the season thus far, John, and with that one adding to his total.
Good point, Victor, with Vindola only being a freshman on that, and his 3rd start, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
1st and 10 at the 43. Vindiola hands it off to Seth Shaw. Left side. Finds a lot of room at the 50 and knocked out of bounds in Viking territory at about the 43.
And that was number 4 for the Vikings, making the stop, Axel Banda.
Bring up a first down for the Tigers, 1st and 10. Move those chains at the 45.
So the Tigers cross midfield once again, John. They were held inside the 10 on their last previous drive as an excellent goal line stand put on display by the Holtville Vikings. The defense here has to rise to the occasion again.
6:19 second quarter, double doubles. Reese Vindiola out of the shotgun. A handoff to Seth Shaw, going right and left and taking it up the left side. Jesus, I forgot.
Well, running behind the blocking of Wolfgang Horner and Ethan Reeves, as he crossed the 45-yard line, he reversed his field, cut back towards the center of the field, and was able to advance and get some positive yardage, making it a 2nd and 3 inside the 35-yard line, inside the 40-yard line, make it the 38 of the Vikings.
8-0. Holtville, 5:48 to go. Second quarter. Trips right. Vindiola going to give it to Tiernan, and everybody was waiting for him. Nothing there.
Well, that was Smith Hilfiger leading the charge, along with number 10, Fermin Velarde.
3rd and 3. Same formation.
You got Naylor in the backfield now.
Oh, and there's movement on the left side of the line.
You know, those are the things.
Offsides.
Those are the things, the Holtville Vikings, you know, that's twice we've seen that, guys. And in a game like this, it's going to affect you. Let's just, you know, I know that was only a first down, but it's going to come down later on. You don't want this happening on a 3rd down where it gives the Imperial Tigers a first down on that. And they know that. This is their 6th game, so they know that. But they're playing with a little bit of attitude right now.
Well, if you're going to go offsides, hit somebody, and Diego Valencia felt that.
1st and 10 at the 33 going in. Naylor gets the handoff up the middle, carrying people with him, and he'll take it to about the 26. A pickup of 6 or 7.
Naylor goes at 5'11", 190 pounds, an excellent runner between the tackles, and he proved his talent there.
He just looks like a football player, doesn't he? He just, the way he dresses just makes him look like a football player right there.
2nd and 4. Naylor this time breaks a tackle going left side, stutter steps, and can't get out with enough room.
Seth Shaw on the run.
Was that Shaw? I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me.
Well,
4:09 to go, timeout.
and while we have a timeout, I'd like to say thanks to Havens & Sons Trucking, located at 603 East Main Street in El Centro, specializing in gravel, rock, and stone. For all your landscaping material needs, call Havens Landscaping at 760-352-6735. Letterman's and Bro. As soon as you get your letter where it was the 2021 season in softball or in baseball or whether it was track, make sure you give Dan a call at 760-693-5034 at Letterman's Bro. Marianne Valenzuela, your State Farm insurance agent, located in Brawley, 122 Main Street. Don't forget to give Marianne a call at 760-344-0447. Gentlemen, we got ourselves a good little ball game right here. We still have a little time possession advantage with the Holtville Vikings, but Imperial moving the sticks when it comes in between the middle of the field right here.
Well, you know, they've played even. Take away that kickoff return, and it's a 0-0 ball game.
Tiernan and Naylor in the backfield. Fakes the dive, shoots it over the middle, pass is caught. And that is number 4, Alejandro Perez, will get the first down for the Tigers in the red zone. Move those chains.
Alejandro Perez coming in with 15 receptions in the season, adding to his total there. An excellent post pattern, picking up a first down for the Tigers.
Tiernan, Naylor, handoff, left side, and a pickup of 5. So it would be a second and about 5 for the Tigers. The ball right at the 10-yard line. 3:27 to go, second quarter. 8-0 Holtville.
Turner lined up in shotgun formation, waiting for the snap from Apodaca.
Double doubles. He'll take the snap and he'll keep it going up the middle, running, and takes it to about the 3.
Running behind the blocking of Wolfgang Horner and Ethan Reeves, able to pick up another first down, but more importantly, they're inside the red zone.
First and goal for the Tigers. 3 minutes to go. Second quarter. Tiernan, Naylor, backfield. Calls the signals. Tiernan diving in to the 1.
Well, he lost his footing there, John, and stumbled to the 1-yard line, but if he wouldn't have slipped coming out of the backfield, he would have had 6 points.
What about this tempo we're seeing out of both teams right here? No huddle, no nothing. You know, while we have a timeout by the Imperial Tigers right now with 2:41 to go, talk things over, that'll leave them with 1 timeout left. John, the tempo you're seeing is on are we seeing this? I mean, we're seeing it in the north end. How does, you know, what about compared to other teams in the Valley?
They run the no-huddle offense, and we've called about 2-3 games for the Tigers, actually 3 games through this VSN broadcasting, and this is how they do it. They're on there. They tire out their opponent, especially during the hot weather. But tonight, it may not be working, but they're still doing it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's been progressing over the past years, this tempo like this, Vic. I mean, we're seeing it all the way through, you know, through all high school football, and it's filtering down to Imperial Valley.
Well, there's 2 things. One, conditioning, and the second, smarts, intelligence, because the players have to know what plays are being called before they go to the line of scrimmage. And that memory bodes well for them.
2nd and goal for the 1. He'll give it to Shaw. And nothing there either.
To go back to your point on that, I wouldn't have did good in this era then. Terry Lowe, it was back in the day. You know how it was, the power eye and then that kind of stuff, you know.
Well, you can't replace or substitute talent, and you had an abundance of talent.
3rd and goal from the 1. Tiernan in the full house backfield. He decides to keep, breaks a tackle left side. Touchdown, Imperial! Chris Tiernan takes the snap and just keeps it, runs a yard away, and scores for the Tigers.
Well, he faked a dive to Seth Shaw running in the 3-hole, and as the defense bit, he pulled it out and scampered down the outside of the line of scrimmage and was able to outrace the defensive backs of Holtville, who were hotly in pursuit.
Well, number 6 he's playing that outside linebacker cornerback position for the Vikings, had him and just.
That was Donovan Johnston, the son of C.J. Johnston, the athletic director and vice principal.
And the point after is good, and so it's 8-7 with the Vikings on top in the 2nd quarter. 2 minutes to go.
Curious. That shows a little bit of confidence with Coach David Shaw. He didn't panic. He's not panicking. He has everything under control. You know, I mean, that's the way I'm interpreting the 1-point play right there. With the score 8-7, he decides to go with 1 with 2 minutes to go. You know, he feels that he can still keep his game plan and keep the steep going.
Well, it's a 48-minute game. We've played 22 minutes thus far. The 2nd quarter isn't complete yet, and you're right. Shaw's confident in his team and that they're going to be able to score again as the game progresses.
And this is a fast first half.
Well, I just think it's one of those games that's entertaining. Like, you know, especially you start off with a kickoff like that, it gets that blood going with all the people in the stands on both sides over here. So it's exciting football, and this is what's going to happen from here on out to the end of the season, guys, where we end it, you know, with key games at the end of the season. This is what it's going to be like. This is the type of atmosphere we're going to be facing.
Yeah, Mays and Iden.
That's Seth Iden on the return. And he'll take it to about the almost to the 40-yard line.
So Holtville's going to come out with Spencer Hilfiker at quarterback. He'll be joined by Peyton Iden and Seth Iden in the backfield. The wide receivers are Roger Rolfe and Daniel Ledesma. The tight end is Mason Toten. Left to right they go with Cade Demerel, Austin Trevino. The center is Alan Marquez. The right side is Alexis Roldan and Smith Hilfiker, a 73, wearing jersey number 73 and only a freshman, but going at 260.
1st and 10 for the Vikings at their own 40-yard line. Hilfiker out of the shotgun. Fakes the dive, decides to keep right side, finds room and picks up 9 yards as he'll take it almost to midfield.
Tackled by number 24, the defensive back, and as Will Torrez alluded to, when that quarterback or running back is already cracking helmets with the defensive back, What does that say? The defensive line isn't doing their job, or the middle linebackers, or it's great offensive blocking by Holtville?
Well, I feel that the first contact is on Imperial side is being done, but Spencer's able to get 3 yards after the first contact, so that's just adding to his total after every run.
And that's what you look for, somebody running the ball that they're running downhill, correct?
That's correct. He puts those shoulder downs and just barrels them over. I mean, you said the fact that he's a big kid for the next level of football.
Peyton Knighton grabs 3 yards, gets a first down, and now the Vikes are in Tiger territory on the 1st and 10 at the Tiger 48. Hilfiger out of the shotgun, calls the signals, closing down in the first half, steps up, rolling out, looking, shooting, and pass intended for number 11, Mason Toten, is incomplete.
Now, this is what's different from the El Centro offense and Vincent Memorial, for example. When the quarterback is flushed out of the pocket, the receivers that are in their patterns will break from their patterns, and they'll run to the sideline where the quarterback is scrambling. So the quarterback would throw to a spot, and the receiver would run under it. The defensive backs had no idea where they were going with it once the play broke down. But here, the Holtville receivers stayed locked into their patterns, and as a result, Hilfiger didn't have a target.
2nd and 10, Hilfiger looking, crossing route, pass is caught there by number 3, Roger Rolfe, who will pick up about 3.
So with 45 seconds remaining here in the second quarter, the clock running, Holtville faced with a 3rd and 7, John, what would you call here?
A pass, because you're running out of time. If he misses it, the clock will stop. Holtville. Hilfiger looking, shooting, intercepted by Imperial, but he was down. That's number 10 for the Tigers.
Victor Valenzuela.
Wow, so there are 3 things that can happen when you pass. That was one of the bad ones.
The interception, right. And as a result, Victor Valenzuela's interception will give the Tigers, with 26 seconds remaining here in the second quarter, the ball at the Tiger 33-yard line.
Well, we did talk about Coach Shaw, he had the confidence, not going for 2 on the same thing can be said about Coach Turner here. Look, he had 2 timeouts. He didn't use them, but he still felt, hey, you know what? Let's get the ball downfield. We'll use our 2 timeouts after. Let's see what happens on this play. But he feels confident with this defense that the Holtville brought to this game tonight. I mean, he feels confident that he can stop them, especially when you have 26 seconds to go.
Tiernan and Vindiola. Vindiola looking left side, shoots it. Pass is incomplete, intended for number 1, Jesse Nichols. He had to turn around and squat to catch it, but he didn't, and it'll bring us 2nd and 10 for Imperial.
So the Vikings in a prevent defense, are we looking at a cover 2 or cover 3?
Well, you got to play everybody back. I'd even put a covered 3 back there. But, they throw it underneath. That's the problem with throwing it underneath. Imperial has those good running backs that can catch that ball in the flats and then take it downfield.
So, with a nickel defense, you had that extra defensive back. When they call it the dime defense, they add 2 extra defensive backs.
Vindiola hands it off to Tiernan. And Tiernan runs out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
And that'll stop the clock with 16.3 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Imperial down by 1, John, 8-7.
And they have 3 running backs, Imperial. All 3 are capable of doing the job back there. A little bit of finesse, a little bit of power.
Another handoff to Tiernan, left side.
And that was number 24 making the tackle.
And that should be the last play.
That was Seth Iden.
And as we count down to halftime right now, with the score as you see on your screen right there, 8-7, I'd like to give thanks to Ojeda Industries, commercial and industrial equipment supplier. Ojeda is a proud sponsor of Valley Sports Network, located in Brawley. Ojeda's Industries is here to serve you. Voted Imperial Valley's Press Reader's Choice for the best farming equipment in 2019. The Dom Team. The Dom Team Real Estate Company serves the entire Imperial Valley with a full array of services. Limited only not only to residential but including farmland, commercial, and industrial ground. For honest and reliable real estate advice, it's the Dom team, 760-337-8600. Top-notch barbershop. Open. This is what's amazing, people. Open 7 days a week down there. Go ahead and give Big Chris a visit. Tell him what you need. Check him out at 317 Wake Avenue in El Centro, where haircuts are still $20, and for seniors and military, they're $15 every day. And VSN will be right back down here with our halftime guest, CJ Johnson, athletic director for the Holtville Vikings.
Reducing energy use during the summer is more important than ever. This summer, IID encourages you to do your part by setting your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher, avoiding the use of large appliances between 4 and 9 p.m., and turning off all unnecessary lighting. But there's more. IID provides a number of summer energy-saving opportunities to help you make the most of your energy savings efforts. Check out our tips and energy-saving guides at IID.com. Let's work together to stay cool and save energy this summer.
Whether you're looking to purchase or sell, your next home awaits. Give the Dom team a call. With over 50 years of experience and over 100 years in the Imperial Valley, Andy and Doug can help you find the right home at the right price fast. Visit us online at www.thedomteam.com and let Andrew and Doug find the perfect home for you. Call today, 760-337-8600.
Welcome back, everybody, as we have an exciting football game. Of course, the Holtville Vikings leading 8-7 over the visiting Imperial Tigers. With me at halftime is athletic director and a guy that wears many hats here at Holtville High, CJ Johnson. CJ, Holtville's coming out to play. I mean, good to see that.
You know, I haven't seen much of the game. I've been running around doing things, looking forward to the second half here. But it looks like we got a competitive game. That's all we can ask for. And, you know, we're excited to see what the second half brings.
CJ, one of the things I've noticed is about this Holtville team, and it's not just the football team, with you being, you know, the wrestling coach, there's a different attitude going on in Holtville around here. There's, you know, like, for instance, on the football side, it's like, you know, Coach Turner, and I'm sure everybody else in the Holtville community, they want to join the IVL. So they're actually proving a point, CJ. That's what, you know, they want to prove, hey, we're not that little guy to be pushed around anymore.
Yeah, I think we're doing a good job of instilling that mentality of the kids. And basically it's just like, hey, we want to compete every time we step on the field, you know, regardless who it is. You know, that's the goal, just to be competitive. We got a competitive environment, a lot of competitive kids. They're getting better. Defensively, you know, we got a lot of wrestlers out on the defense there. I think 10 out of the 11. So, you know, for me, it's pretty exciting as a coach. But no, that's what we preach as a coach, and not just in football and wrestling, but a lot of the coaches were, you know, 10 years ago we were kind of in a down times, and you know, we're trying to get back to those early 90s or 90 days, you know, the glory days, and just be competitive in all our sports. And I think a lot of coaches are putting a little extra time and doing a great job of you know, instilling the mental toughness and and also just putting the extra work in.
So when you're talking about the other sports and the extra work, let's talk about the other sports. I was talking to Melissa earlier. I mean, congratulations, CIF champs. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about your daughter and all that there. But, you got football competing at a higher level. Then you got volleyball this year. Tell us a little bit about the Holtville sports that are going on right now.
Well, right now in the fall, volleyball team is obviously doing well. It's got a pretty good group of girls that play basketball and softball, and they've been competing and for years and playing together for years. So right now they're sitting at like 1 or 2 in CIF rankings. Last I checked, it should be. We're excited for the season. To the second half of league is almost approaching, and CIF playoffs. Very excited there. Obviously, football team's doing well, off to a good start. And this game here against Imperial, for me, it's awesome because we're renewing an old rivalry, from the 90s. But, I thank Victor Cruz and Coach Shaw for allowing us to play. And for us, it's just a good gauge to see where we're at, and what we need to build on from here on out. We also have, some good individual performances on our cross-country team right now. Girls golf's improving, each week. So. And our tennis team, is putting the extra work in and getting better and improving each week. So as a coach, and an athletic director, that's all you can ask is we just want kids that are willing to work, and if they're willing to put that time in, usually good things pay off in the long run.
So that says a lot for the athletic director. And I know, it's hard sometimes just to get a hold of you, especially, you have wrestling to do. But on a personal note, CJ, you're a CIF champion. Your wife is a CIF champion. Your son, I talked to Robert Powell, wrestling coach. He was telling me, we were talking about wrestling a couple of months ago, and he said that when your son won it, that was probably the coolest thing, the emotional support you both had right there. And then you have the softball CIF. Are you running out of room at your house with CIF plaques and trophies?
You know what? We got a good positive environment going in most sports, and we're working on some of the others. For me, it's not about me or my family. It's about the group of the team. A team of coaches, a team of athletes that are being unselfish and willing to sacrifice, whatever skills they have to do what's best for the team and put their individual differences aside. And it's about the team. I wish all kids got to experience that championship, that CIF championship.
Yeah,
Obviously, last year was a little special for me as a father. My son kind of overcoming a kid he lost 3 times the previous year. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's not about me or my kids. We got a lot of coaches doing some good things, putting the time in, instilling good work ethic, good habits, good life skills. For me, it's we want to be competitive every day, and we want our kids to take what they have learned out in the classroom and on the athletic field and take that into real life and be successful in life. And hopefully, for me, I graduated Holtville in '98, and I'm coming back and helping out. And the most rewarding thing for me is when I see my former athletes come back and teach or come back and help coach and get back to the community. And that's what we need as a small town. We need those people continuing to step up and give back.
No, congratulations to, like you said, it's not just you. Look, your softball team's a young team. They're coming back. Most of them are coming back. There wasn't a lot of seniors on there. And you're talking about a team that, lost by 1 or 2 in the state championships here, in an odd year. But whatever it was, they still had the opportunity, and that's all you can ask from. So one of these days, I am going to tell the story. If I go back 3-4 years, how, VSN almost ended up right here. We had a week to go in the season. That's for another day. But from everybody at VSN, myself personally, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for the hospitality, of course. And continue the great work you've done out here, CJ. We look to see, you competing at that level all the time, man, and keep it up. Good job by everybody.
Thank you, Will. We appreciate everything VSN does for Holtville High School. And we just look to continue building on what we have, and we'll see what happens, in the future. I think, a lot of our sports are getting bumped up divisions, so that's a good challenge to see where we're at now and what we got to work on. And, it really is just about, not about, beating this team or that team. It's just about us having the right mindset and being competitive every time we step on the field. And, and when we're not, we go back to work and keep building on that.
Well, I got to admit, I was at that CIF championship game in San Diego, and talk about Valley support, and that, we just love to see that. So once again, man, for Will Torrez, CJ Johnson, VSN will be right back.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Reducing energy use during the summer is more important than ever. This summer, IID encourages you to do your part by setting your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher, avoiding the use of large appliances between 4 and 9 p.m., and turning off all unnecessary lighting. But there's more. IID provides a number of summer energy-saving opportunities to help you make the most of your energy savings efforts. Check out our tips and energy saving guides at IID.com. Let's work together to stay cool and save energy this summer.
Welcome back, everybody. Will Torrez, Vic Carrillo, and John Moreno upstairs at Burger Field in Holtville, California, where we have, of course, the score. Holtville Vikings 8, Imperial Tigers 7. Gentlemen, give me your thoughts. Vic, John, give me your thoughts on this first half.
Well, it was opened up with an electrifying kickoff return by Dorian Mays, taking the kickoff from Ethan Gonzalez at his own 7-yard line. Coming down the near sideline in front of the Holtville bench, the picket fence was set for him, and he was some excellent blocks from his kickoff return teammates. They were able to put 6 points on the board, and then the 2-point conversion with Ledesma running it in gave them an early 8-0 lead. Imperial was thwarted on their first opening drive inside the 10-yard line on a 4th and goal. They couldn't make it, and with ball control on their offense, the Holtville Vikings were able to move the ball back out towards midfield. But the Tigers eventually were able to get the ball back and get into the scoring column, John, when C.J. Turner, on a quarterback keeper, he's played at running back, wide receiver, and this time at the quarterback position in place of Reese Vignola, the freshman, took it in. The point after attempt by Ethan Gonzalez was good, and we now have a score of 8-7.
And we've, Will had mentioned earlier that they've been playing between the hash mark, between the tackles, and that's what we've seen. We've seen a lot of good, hard-nosed, smash-mouth football by both teams. Good defenses. There have been some mistakes, a couple of penalties, but this is a fast game.
Well, Will alluded to the fact that both teams were employing a no-huddle offense, and as a result, that's increased the tempo of the game, as they have 35 seconds to run a play, but they're running their plays inside 15 to 20 seconds. What's your take on that, Will?
Well, one thing we noticed, they're getting a lot of playing time. You know, in that first quarter, we saw the Holtville Vikings with game management of the clock. So, you know, and then you get Imperial, and they, you know, it's like they got to catch up to run more plays because that's their advantage. You know, Shaw likes to open it up. So the more plays he can run, hey, the better he feels. You know, he's go, 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 go type of guy. Open it up, you know. So that's the mentality Coach Shaw has. And so now we're looking at basically a tight score. But I think the key was, of course, that kickoff. You know, you don't know what to score. And then that defensive stance. But that 2-point conversion by Holtville might come back. And, you know, I don't know who it's going to favor, Holtville or the Vikings, you know.
This will be kind of the game that whoever has the ball last will be the winner.
Yeah.
Well, you have Padilla getting set to kick off. Back to receive, you have Zach Ray along with number 3 for the Tigers.
I believe that's Alejandro Perez on the near side. And it'll go pretty deep, and into the end zone it goes. And it will not be returnable. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers at their own 20.
Well, I correct myself, John. It was Dominic Suarez, number 25, not 29, along with Alejandro Perez. But the booming kick by Brian Padilla into the end zone, the Tigers will take over at their own 20-yard line. They're down by a score of 1 point, 8-7 as we get set. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back the voice of choice, the real deal, Johnny Moe, John Moreno Brown.
Thank you, Vic. 1st and 10 for the Tigers at their own 20. In the backfield, you've got quarterback Chris Tiernan out of the shotgun, double doubles, one lone setback. In the third quarter, the Imperial Valley Classic handing off to Seth Shaw. Maybe a yard. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 9 for the Tigers.
Offensively, they go with Turner now at quarterback instead of running back. He's joined by Seth Shaw along with Alejandro Perez, Dominic Suarez, and Jess Nichols at the skill positions. The center is Jose Apodaca. The guards are Horner and Gastelum, tackles Reeves and Valencia.
2nd and 9 from the 21. Tiernan looking quickly, shooting. Pass is caught by number 1. That is Jesse Nichols in the left flat. He'll pick up almost a first down. It'll bring up a 3rd and a yard.
That reception was caught in front of Donovan Johnston, the defensive back wearing jersey number 6, as the Tigers come out throwing early and throwing often.
So a 3rd down for the Tigers. Tiernan still in there, double doubles. He's going to keep it. And you see Wolfgang Horner just push him forward, and he'll pick up about almost 5.
Well, Wolfgang Horner has that ability, John, at 6'2", 305 pounds, and he just manhandled the defensive front of the Vikings, as well as giving that assist to C.J. Turner.
You know, why block somebody? Just push your man forward.
Well, C.J. Johnson talked about that at halftime where they had 10 wrestlers on that team. Wolfgang, being one of those wrestlers from Imperial, a CIF champion himself down there, uses his profile down there just to use the leverage against a defensive player.
1st and 10. Tiernan looking to the right side. Decides to run in this direction. Will turn it up the field at the 40 and goes out of bounds at around the 42-yard line. A pickup of 9 on the keeper for Tiernan.
Well, Will, let's elaborate on that a little bit more. You know, in the winter sports, if the football players aren't going to play basketball, the coaches at Brawley, Central, Southwest, and Holtville and Imperial like to get those non-basketball players into the wrestling program. It really teaches them how to use their body, how to use leverage, and more importantly, how to use their hands.
Well, one of the key things about that, Vic, it's been that you can wrestle now year-round, so they can always stay in that wrestling shape. But, you know, I still believe in the old school way of a 3-sport athlete.
Trips left. Tiernan couldn't find anybody and is sacked at the 35.
And with one of those sports being wrestling, but whatever sport you do pick, Vic, you know, it's not that I don't like it. I just like at the high school level where kids play that 3-sport. You know, you play that 3-sport during your school year. You know, if you want to change later on or focus on one because you have an opportunity maybe to go to at a higher level, whatever division it may be, then there's a difference on that, Vic.
But how much has wrestling contributed, what kind of an impact to the success of those high schools that I've mentioned?
Well, first of all, I believe mentality. It's affected them mental. They're mentally stronger, and then they're physically stronger. So you add those two to the football field on the line of scrimmage, they use their weight advantage with their strength advantage to muscle the opponent away. That's my philosophy behind a wrestler playing in the football.
Excellent point. Thank you.
Tiernan picks up a first down on a keeper. That'll be about a 13-yard gain. They'll spot the ball right at midfield here in the third quarter with 9 minutes to go.
You know, the Vikings can't relax in the defensive secondary because Tiernan was 6 for 6 last week in their victory over Gila Ridge, in Yuma. So the threat of the pass is always there.
First and 10 at midfield. Tiernan looking, crossing route. Pass is caught by number 22. Penalty flags. That is Francisco Lopez.
5'6", 160 pounds, as he was manhandled there by the Holtville defense. The Holtville fans saw that as good old-fashioned hard-nosed football, but the referees, led by John Seaman, who's wearing the white cap tonight, saw it differently. And remember, they alluded during the preseason that safety is first and foremost. What say you, Will?
Well, I agree with the safety. Now, I'm not going to lie, I kind of missed that. I was looking down at my notes right now. I missed that. But look, we have one of the best referees, if not Southern California, and for sure in Imperial Valley. So, you know, we're going to go with this judgment, especially when it's a judgment call. You know, when it's a judgment call like that, he is going to take, you know, that assertive thing where safety does come first.
Seshaw takes the handoff, goes to the left side, and he'll pick up a yard. And that was a big 15-yard penalty, a personal foul.
Well, that keeps the drive alive, John, and as they move the ball inside the 30-yard line, they call that the green zone from the 30 to the 20. Ethan Gonzalez has the capability and the ability to be able to kick a field goal from this range, but it's a first down.
2nd and 9 from the 29. 4 receivers on the left, and Tiernan is looking in that direction. And the pass is tipped and intercepted by number 3 for the Holtville Vikings. That is Roger Rolfe. Gets a tip drill, and look what I found. He's got a 1st and 10 back at the 10-yard line.
Well, the pendulum, the lady momentum is swinging from the Imperial Tigers to the Holtville Vikings. The Vikings will take over deep in their own territory, inside their own 10-yard line. In fact, right at the 10, John.
So Hilfiger on a 1st and 10 from that turnover will hand it off.
Number 21.
And that would be number 21.
Gentlemen, I'm noticing that special teams got them in this game. The offense is controlling the clock, but the defense is making the difference on the Holtville Vikings.
That was Joel Villacampos making the tackle there for Imperial.
Another handoff to Peyton Knighton. He'll get the first down going to the right side.
1 block away from breaking it open on that one.
Well, Peyton Knighton, the leading rusher for the Imperial Holtville Vikings, he had 525 yards coming into tonight's ball game. His longest run this season is a 55-yarder, John. So he has the capability of busting it loose.
1st and 10 from their 21-yard line. Hilfiger handing off again. That is Seth Eiten, right side. And they'll just keep doing that. If it keeps on working and picking up 5-6 yards, this one is 7 yards for the Vikings.
Running behind the blocking of Austin Trevino and Cade Damerel. They're finding success there as they're now faced with a 2nd and 2 from their own 29-yard line.
6.5 minutes to go, third quarter. 8-7 Holtville. Hilfiger will hand off to number 17.
That's Zepian Duarte.
And Duarte gets nothing. It'll be 3rd and about 2.
Zephrin Duarte coming into the game with 13 carries for 123 yards, but more importantly, he averages 9.5 yards per carry.
Hilfiker on a 3rd and short. This time he'll keep it, and he'll get the first down as he'll just barrel his way up to the 35-yard line. A pickup of 5 for Holtville and a 1st and 10.
So while we get ready for the Vikings to start a brand new series on the 35-yard line, I'd like to announce the Town Pump will reopen after this COVID year. Yes, good news for all those steak eaters. It will reopen next Tuesday. You know, they're going to open from Tuesday to Saturday, 4 through 9, closed on Sunday and Monday. But the great news is Town Pump will be opening next week.
And a handoff to Seth Eiten, flips him over, and he'll pick up 6.
He was flipped over by linebacker number 53, Aiden Shields, 6'2", 215 pounds. An aggressive tackle that stops Eiten short on his tracks. At the ball's at the 41-yard line of Holtville. Holtville is going right to left here at Burger Field. A beautiful night for football as the temperature's dropping into the low 80s.
Hilfiker keeping and going again right side between guard and tackle, getting the 6 yards he needs for a first down. And more importantly, like Will said, taking time off the clock. Time of possession is key because we've got 4:20 to go in this 3rd quarter.
Well, that was Zach Ray along with number 23, Jeremiah Naylor, making the stop there on the 6'2", 220-pound quarterback, Seth Spencer Hilfiker.
Hilfiker handing off again, right side, picks up 3. And that is number 6 for the Vikings.
Number 31, Anthony Monzon.
You know, with this 3rd quarter moving so quick, one of the reasons, of course, is the lack of passing. But look, neither team is complaining because when they, we said earlier, the Holtville Vikings, they want to just be able to run the ball, get 4 yards plus. Look, Hilfiker's going to run 3 before he gets contact and lay down for another 3. That's how much power he's got behind him.
2nd and about 8. Hilfiker hands off again. Eiten, the ball carrier, number 21, Peyton.
Number 24.
And he'll pick up 4. They'll spot it right at the 45 of Imperial going in.
Well, you had 2 55s there. You had Kay Demerol, the offensive tackle, going mano a mano with number 55, Kai Bishop, the grandson of John Bishop. He goes at 5'11", 190 pounds. And I mentioned John Bishop because he's a legendary coach for the Brawley Wildcats. And a chip off the old block, his grandson, Kai Bishop, playing an outstanding game here for the Tigers.
3rd and 2 fumble, but Holtville falls back on it.
That ball laid on that field, in that backfield for a long time, it seemed like, especially if you're a Holtville Viking coach.
It was there forever. So a loss of a couple, maybe 1, 4th and 5.
4th and 5 with 2:30 and the clock counting down for the end of the 3rd quarter.
You know, and this has been relatively a well-played game.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
So
Mistake-free. That's the first.
That potential turnover there kind of stymieing the offensive thrust of the Vikings.
Gutsy move by Coach Turner right here.
Hilfiker again will keep it, lowers his shoulder. Does he get the necessary yardage? I don't think so. He'll be a yard shy on the quarterback keeper.
Once again, Coach Turner having confidence in his defense that he's going to be able to stop these Imperial Tigers. You know, why else would you go for it? It was 4th and 5, and actually a long 5 yards to go. So, with 1:55 to go, do we have a timeout on the field? No, it's just change of possession right now. So, 1:55, ball being placed on about the, what do you say, is that the 44-yard line right there?
44, the Tiger 44-yard line.
Let's see what Coach David Shaw and his Imperial Tigers got planned for the end of this 3rd quarter.
Do a play action and go deep here down the near sideline.
Trips right. He's going to give it. He's going to keep it. Tiernan didn't fool the Holtville defense, and he'll pick up 2 on the carry.
Vic, that's just old school mentality on that defensive side. Stay home. You know, you teach those players to stay home like that, Vic, and when they have the trips on the outside, nobody gets outside of you when you play that type of defense right there.
That's right. You got to look to where the tight end is, and that's where the ball usually goes on a running play. And Brian Vasquez, number 77, a 280-pound tackle for the Vikings, made that stop.
1:20 to go, third quarter. Pitch to Shaw. Shaw almost loses his footing, but goes to the original line of scrimmage, and really nothing there either.
Brought down by Betancourt of the Vikings as Shaw had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Where have I heard that before, John? Think of Martha and the Vandellas.
In the old gym with Drew Ortega and Luis Pacheco.
Gentlemen, why we have a timeout on the field right now. One of our sponsors for tonight's game is brought to you by Ivy Welding Mechanical. Industrial welding contractor for all your heavy metal needs. Ivy Welding incorporates welding techniques to build high-quality systems that exceed clients' expectations. Make sure and give Fred Baeza a call at 760-482-9353, located in El Centro.
Well, the ball now at the near sideline, near hash mark for the Tigers. Are going left to right.
And is that Vindiola back in there? No, that's Tiernan rolling out to the right. Looking deep, a man is open, the pass is incomplete, intended for Alejandro Perez. Nobody around him. Could have had 6 points, would have had 6 points.
Could have, would have, and should have, John.
Could have been a contender, could have had class.
But listen, Vic called it just a play earlier. He called it. They were going to go deep. In this type of game, though, guys, you know, you've got to make those throws and you got to make those catches. That's just the type of ball game this is, because now you're looking at that, you know, you're looking at 4th and long and you're putting yourself in a punting situation. But, you know, that doesn't mean they're going to punt just because they're going in this punt formation right here. The way.
That is true. The punt to number 9.
That's Mays.
Mays will
Dorian Mays, John.
Not be returned, and they'll spot it where the Holtville Vikings will take over at the 15.
It's not Mays.
So while we get ready for the Holtville Vikings to take over the ball with 27 seconds to go, we got some exciting news with Burgers and Beer doing a little change up inside their inside their place down there. John, tell us a little bit about that coming up in the future for Burgers and Beer.
Well, he wants to do some remodeling, and so that's what he didn't get much into it, but Jaime Honnold and his Burgers and Beer are a mainstay in the Imperial Valley, and I go there at least once a week to get those delicious bacon cheeseburgers with extra bacon.
That's where that doctor wanted to talk to you real soon about that.
The cardiologist.
And they will be showing VSN on all their TVs. That was one of the exciting news that he had for us.
Yes, he will. He's going to reconfigure his whole TV system.
Good. There's going to be, and the way it is now, guys, we're getting used to this little Thursday night football deal, you know, where VSN tomorrow night will be, like we said, at Ward Field, where the Central Spartans go down there and visit Calexico. It will be the legendary Vic Carrillo and John Moreno as we're looking at the end of the third quarter here. So from Will Torrez, John Moreno, and Vic Carrillo, we'll be right back after this.
Whether you're looking to purchase or sell, your next home awaits. Give the Dom team a call. With over 50 years of experience and over 100 years in the Imperial Valley, Andy and Doug can help you find the right home at the right price fast. Visit us online at www.thedomteam.com and let Andrew and Doug find the perfect home for you. Call today, 760-337-8600.
Welcome back, everyone. On a Thursday night, we have some good action football down here. We have the Imperial Tigers visiting Holtville Vikings with the score, of course, 8-7, the start of the fourth quarter. Guys, we're looking at Holtville here, and the way they've been controlling that ball and the clock up there, if they take 6 minutes off this clock, things could be a little bit different down the road at the end of the fourth quarter.
Well, they've put in C.J. Johnston, who had a first down run on the last play of the third quarter, gets the pigskin once again, and he picks up 6 valuable yards there, John. So now it's a 2nd and 4, the ball at the 43-yard line.
First down by Johnson. 2nd and 3.
And we see a little roughhousing out there after the play. And no flags, so it'll be a 2nd and about 4 for the Vikings. The ball at their own 38-yard line in the 4th quarter. We just started.
Well, John, what's that old CIF axiom? Let the players play, let the coaches coach, let the officials officiate.
And let the crowd be as positive as ever. So a 2nd and 4 for the Vikings. Hilfiger out of the shotgun. Claps his hands, takes a snap, and hands it off. And that, I believe it was still Johnston in the backfield, Vic?
I can't tell, but number 55 for the Tigers right there trying to maintain order with his teammates.
And those are the type of penalties that's going to hurt either team, especially when you want to, go against its Imperial Tigers. And while we're talking about some sayings, Terry Lowe had a saying that, I still to this day don't forget. If you want to win games, you win games with the offense. But if you want to win championships, go with the defense, because defense are the ones that wins championships. That was just the way Terry Lowe used to, coach his football teams.
Well, that's right. All you have to do is score one more point than your opponent. But let me tell you about Coach Lowe. He not only coached his team, he coached the opposing team too. He was always giving advice from the sidelines, and I took it to heart.
Well, Doug Klein told me about that he helped him out at the next level. When Doug Klein was at his senior year, actually Terry Lowe on the baseball scene actually helped Doug, go to, I think it was UC Irvine, I believe. I'm not really sure.
UC Irvine, right.
Yeah,
he was a catcher.
Yeah, he was a catcher, exactly, and Terry Lowe had a little bit of input in that.
Well, Terry Lowe was a great football coach, a great baseball coach, but more importantly, he was a great believer in the young men that came out of Brawley High School and the community of Brawley. Everybody loved Terry Lowe, even players from other high schools in the valley.
Well,
we all referred to him as Coach Lowe. He was our coach as well.
Well, you didn't have to love him, but I'll tell you what, you did have to respect him.
Yeah.
That's a fact right there.
Well, I must have seen just the jolly side of him.
So Holtville goes 3 and out, and they'll have to punt. And that is the punter for the Vikings is Padilla.
Brian Padilla, John. He's also the place kicker.
And back here, looks like Seth Shaw up to return it. And good end over end kick. Shaw will pick it up at 31. And he's brought down by number 24, Seth Iden. And Seth against Seth had nowhere to go, so they're going to spot the ball inside the 35 at the 34-yard line. So the Tigers get a 1st and 10.
Seth Iden, a 5'10 sophomore, weighs 160 pounds, but strong and a tenacious defender and cover man there on that Padilla punt. So the Tigers will take over with 9:22 remaining in the 4th quarter at their own 34-yard line. They're down by 1 point, 8-7, and an outstanding game being played tonight by the hosting Holtville Vikings and the visiting Imperial Tigers. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back the voice of choice, your friend and mine, John Moreno Brown.
1st and 10 for the Tigers at their own 34-yard line. Trips left. C.J. Tiernan and Naylor in the backfield. Tiernan will get the handoff. Rolling out the right side. Has a lot of pressure. Breaks away from one, but stopped right at the 35-yard line.
Well, defensive end number 11, Mason Toten, had an opportunity to tackle him there and just ran right by him. I don't know what he was seeing, but it'll be 2nd and 9. He was probably trying to utilize the sideline as a defensive ally for him.
Well, one of the key things that is that outside position, he has to keep that inside containment. So that's one thing that, he might have got outran on that, but that's his priority, to keep the inside containment on. Nobody can go outside of him.
2nd and 9 from the 35. Tiernan, Naylor gets the handoff. Naylor gets a couple, move it up to about the 37, 38-yard line.
That's number 24, Seth Iden, in to make that stop.
8:23 to go in the 4th quarter still, and now we're seeing the Imperial Tigers take a little bit more time on the offensive side of the ball.
Now they're making adjustments as
Yeah, good point, John. That I believe that's exactly what they're doing, especially with the game winding down a bit like this.
trips left. Tiernan in the backfield. He'll take the snap. Looking over the middle. Pass is caught there. Alejandro Perez running a crossing route. Will catch the football and give the Tigers a 1st and 10 and move the chains into Viking territory.
Well, they haven't lost confidence in Perez, and I like that they went back to him after he dropped that potential touchdown pass in the 3rd quarter. Now he comes back with a crossing pattern, a post pattern over the middle, and C.J. Turnan hit him right on the number 4 for that completion.
Trips left on a 1st and 10. Tiernan will keep the football, breaks one tackle right side, gets a 1st and 10 and more, and runs out of bounds right about the 35-yard line.
And that was number 4 for the Vikings, making the stop.
John, do you think that play came from a broken play in the backfield? I mean, it didn't start off good. You think that might have just been a bootleg to his right side?
It could have been because he ran it very well and he read it very well.
Well, he was running behind the blocking of Valencia and Gastelum, so they gave him a running lane to get out there to the outside.
1st and 10 at the Holtville 35. Tiernan will keep it, getting the blocking from Naylor. Trips over his man and will pick up 2.
Well, that's Wolfgang right there. That's a big man to trip over right there.
Well, number 10, Fermin Velarde, who in the Calexico game had 51 tackles for the season then, picked up another 14 tackles that night, and now he adds to his total here.
2nd and 8 from the 33. Naylor and Tiernan in the backfield. He got double doubles. Nichols here to the near side. Bettis in the slot. Naylor gets the handoff, right side. Naylor breaks a tackle, running, has a lot of room. Will take it inside the 20. A 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Move the chains. They're going to spot the ball right about the 17-yard line.
That was defensive back Roger Rolfe hanging on for dear life before he was able to bring down the hard-charging Jeremiah Naylor.
I know you guys were watching the guys downfield, but I was keeping my eyes on Wolfgang. He pulled on that play. He pulled to his right. He's just a phenomenal athlete in my opinion. You know, to be that size of muscle and be able to pull like that, good for him.
There he's pulling again.
Tiernan on the keeper.
And this is what I asked earlier in the first half, the difference between zone blocking and angle blocking. And with the angle blocking is when they pull the guards to get out to the outside and everybody else blocks down from the tackle, the tight end, and to take advantage of the blocking ability of your lineman, and in particular, someone that weighs 305 pounds. I know when you played, Will, back in the day, the linemen weren't that big, were they?
You know, they were just big. They weren't as, I think they're stronger now, but they were that big. You know, I just think they're quicker and stronger now, you know.
Tiernan on the 2nd and 7. Hands off to Shaw. Shaw is stopped inside the 10.
Well, he escaped the grasp of number 24 of the Vikings, and that being Seth Eiten. Picked up some positive yardage as they're in the red zone. The ball, well, inside the 10-yard line now.
They need a yard for a 1st or 7 or 8 for a touchdown.
This is a key play right here, 3rd down. You know, it's curious, you know, if they make this 1st down, if they don't make this 1st down, what the situation will put them in.
Tiernan on a keeper, takes the shotgun snap, takes it to the 5. He'll get a 1st down inside the 5. 1st and goal for the Tigers. They've got 4 plays to get it in, Vic.
Well, not only that, John, if they can't get it in, they have an ace up their sleeves in the kicking of Ethan Gonzalez.
Now, you say that, Vic, and putting yourself in that situation, with 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter right now, Coach Shaw, would he kick those 3 points?
Well, whether he does or doesn't, what he does want to do is gain the lead.
Tiernan takes the handoff, shotgun, snap, touchdown, Imperial. So Tiernan from about 4 yards out gets the snap, runs up the middle, and now the Tigers got 6.
Well, with 3:48, it's all moot now here in the 4th quarter as the Tigers dent the end zone on that short keeper by C.J. Turnan, and as a result, they've taken the lead 13-8 over the hosting Holtville Vikings as we get set for an Ethan Gonzalez point after attempt with CJ Turnan holding. Jose Apodaca Jr. will be the center snapping the ball.
And snap set, and this one is good. So the Tigers with a touchdown late in the fourth quarter with 3:48 to go, 14-8 Imperial.
Well, the Vikings need a touchdown to tie and a conversion to win.
So, Will Torrez, Vic Carrillo, John Moreno, we are VSN. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We got ourselves a football game going on here with 3:48 to go in the fourth quarter. The score, of course, 14-8. Holtville down, but getting ready to gain possession on this kickoff. If we go to John Moreno with the play-by-play.
And a squib kick between the numbers right at the 33. And so the Vikings will take over. They've got 3:47 and counting to see if they can surpass the Tiger lead.
Well, we did expect this game to be this tight. I thought it was going to be a little higher scoring, though. I did think it was going to be higher scoring. I thought both offensives. But let's go back to the old saying Terry Lowe saying was about the defense. Defense wins the championship. Even though, down the road, this is going to help the Holtville Vikings no matter the outcome of this game with that Division V ranking.
Hilfiger at the 33, 1st and 10. Will hand off the football. Number 24, 21, that is Peyton Knighton, will get about 3 yards.
Will, just in closing on Terry Lowe, he was part of a great coaching history along with Coach Farrell, Bob Farrell, and Hal McNaughton. Excellent coaches up there in the north end with the Golden Horde.
A lot of history down there.
Hilfiger, shotgun, pass to Seth Heighton in the right flat. He'll get a first down and pick up at about 12, 13 yards.
The ball came loose when he hit the ground.
But there's a fumble, and Imperial recovers.
Now, the thing about that, we had the flank official right on that play right there. Now, we do have a call already that it is Imperial's ball. The only question that could be going down, if they had ruled him, his momentum had stopped. Now, but there was no whistle at the same time. So, we have a calling already that Imperial got the ball.
Well, in high school, can they overturn the call?
Well, they can actually, if any referee on that field saw something different what was being explained out there, you got to go with it, but he has to be 100% sure.
Well, let's see what the call is from John Seaman.
This is where, so that's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. If two things could have happened on there. His knee was down, or they ruled his momentum had stopped.
Well, if John Seaman wanted to run for mayor of Holtville, I think he'd win unanimously.
According to the response, yes, yeah. But interesting when we look at the replay on that one.
Well, let's see if it's a game changer.
Because if you see right now, you see Coach Shaw running out there in the field right now. He wants an explanation. That's what he wants. You saw him all the way down there.
1st and 10 for Holtville. Peyton grabs a couple, goes over midfield, and will go to the Tiger 48.
Well, you want to keep the ball in the possession of the hands of your all-hands team, John. You don't want them coughing up the football. So we're going to see a lot of Peyton Knighton carrying the ball here, as well as Hilfiker on quarterback keepers.
Hilfiker fakes the dive, keeps it going to the right, and is brought down immediately.
That was Jeremiah Naylor making the stop, along with number 36 for the Tigers, Joel Villacampos. So the Tiger defense rising to the occasion. They thought they had a fumble recovery, but it was all for naught, and now the Vikings face with a 3rd and 5.
Hilfiker
2 minutes to go.
hands the football off to Seth Eiton, and there's a rugby scrum down there.
And so upcoming is the play of the game, John. With 1:47 remaining, the ball at the 44-yard line of Imperial. They need to get to the 43.
And we're looking to call the player of the game. Brought to you by VSN and Burgers and Beer.
Yes, VSN Burgers and Beer will be picking the player of the game right now for a gift certificate awarded to that player after tonight's game.
Well, it might be a little premature as there's several candidates, but let's talk more about the play of the game. What would you call?
Right after VSN goes with these commercials, we will talk about the play of the game.
Reducing energy use during the summer is more important than ever. This summer, IID encourages you to do your part by setting your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher, avoiding the use of large appliances between 4 and 9 p.m., and turning off all unnecessary lighting. But there's more. IID provides a number of summer energy-saving opportunities to help you make the most of your energy savings efforts. Check out our tips and energy-saving guides at IID.com. Let's work together to stay cool and save energy this summer.
Welcome back. John, go ahead as we get
handoff from Hilfiker to one of the Eiton brothers, number 21, Peyton. And the ball will be turned over on downs.
And that was Aiden Shields, number 53, along with number 55, Kai Bishop, making that stop and protecting the lead of 14-8 of the Imperial Tigers. So time is called. With 1:38 remaining by the Imperial Tigers, they lead 14-8.
And we are getting to a very important point right there as we talk about the play of the game. Vic, go ahead. Let us know about the play of the game.
Well, they were running behind the blocking of Alan Marquez and Alexis Roldan, thinking that it had been successful running the ball, and but the defense rose to the occasion, particularly the linebacking crew of Kai Bishop and Aiden Shields, along with Jeremiah Naylor, and the Vikings were denied, coming up half a yard shy of the first down. And so with 1:38 remaining here in the fourth quarter, the Vikings will turn it over on downs. The Tigers will try to run out the clock. What say you, John?
Well, I think the big play started the first play. That run, that kickoff return by numbers
Mays.
Number 9. I think that kind of set the tone, but right now the tone is in the Tigers' favor with C.J. Turnin. And the Tigers. He's going to hand it off to Shaw. Shaw just pounding his way up the middle between left guard and left tackle. It'll bring up 4, so it'll be a 2nd and 6.
So with 1:31 to go, and the Holtville Vikings, I believe that was their second timeout on that.
Well, the Tigers are going with experience right now, as David Shaw, the head coach for the Imperial Tigers, has elected to go with C.J. Turnin here in the closing minutes of the fourth quarter to maintain the ball control, as we have an injured player. It might be a cramp.
Fermin Velarde.
So we talked about this earlier, where we had the Holtville Vikings controlling the clock, and they did an excellent job on that part. It came down right after that timeout. You know, they decided to do a little cross play, you know, in the backfield and then go in between the two tackles, and Imperial was ready for that on a 4th down that way. Handed up, you know, Imperial comes through with their own defensive stances. We saw earlier in the game, Holtville inside the 5-yard line was able to start to stop the Imperial Tigers from scoring. So a little payback for on the Imperial side to stop them on the defensive side right there.
Well, the Holtville Vikings were enjoying off-tackle runs, utilizing the running ability of Seth Eiten along with Peyton Eiten. And when they inserted Donovan Johnston late in the third quarter to give those guys a breather, he kicked off a couple of 14-yard runs and an 8-yard run. So running those off-tackle plays behind the blocking of the Holtville line, Alexis Roldan and Austin Trevino, along with Alan Marquez, Cade Damerol, and Smith Hilfiker. But this time the Tiger defense prevailed. The Vikings came up short, and so now, John, with 1:31 remaining.
And John, let me interrupt here real quick. Now, I don't know if they're going to charge Holtville a timeout or they're going to have an injury timeout on that. So that's going to be, it might come into play. I don't know, but go ahead, John.
Tiernan handed off to Shaw, right side. If he gets the first down,
which it looks like he did,
yeah,
he'll pick up 6-7 yards.
Is it too early to go into victory formation, John, with 1:21 remaining?
No, I don't think so. I think they could do it. They got 4 downs to do. What is it in between downs, 25 seconds?
Actually 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
By the time they start counting it down. So, let's talk a little bit about this. It's, the score might not reflect for the Holtville Vikings how good this game and important it was for them. Them being a Division 5 team, playing a Division 3 team, the saying goes, hey, look, it's better to lose against a top opponent, in higher in ranking than it is to, beat a lower opponent in the lower levels. You get more points for beating the tougher team in the Imperial that way. So they, as right now, if the score were to stand with 30 seconds to go and the clock, they do go in the victory formation, it's still a positive for the Holtville Vikings.
Well, the Vikings came into the game 5-0, 5 wins, no losses. Their last victory was 2 weeks ago, 29-28, over the visiting Calexico Bulldogs. And here it looks like Imperial is racing out to a 4th consecutive victory, which will raise their record to 5-2, excuse me.
So, one thing that is still alive is this rivalry. This thing is going to keep going. It's good to have, and let's just hope there is no serious injuries. Both these guys get ready for league next week. It's going to be tough. Congratulations to the Imperial Tigers. I mean, they took on a tough Holtville Viking team tonight.
And they were both evenly matched, even though one is in Division 5, the other in Division 3. I mean, you got to say a lot about the Holtville Vikings. I mean, they were in it all the way to the end.
Well, both outstanding athletic programs, a very well-played game, and as a result, the fans were entertained, not only those in attendance, but those viewing live stream on VSN.net.
Yeah, so we're actually going to do something we haven't done before. We're actually going to have a live interview on the field right now, and that'll be coming up. But before we do that, let's talk about tomorrow night. Let us know a little bit where VSN is going to be at tomorrow night, John.
Tomorrow night they're going to be at Willis Ward Field in Calexico for the Calexico Central Union High School football game, the first game of the league. And this is a precursor of what's down the road. Central, a Division II team. They're the IVL defending champions. But more than that, a long storied rivalry since 1915, Vic and Will. And, Calexico is up. They've been playing better as the weeks go by. And so we're going to see a strong Calexico team for once in a matter of several years. And Central is not where they were the last couple of years. So it's going to be a good matchup.
Well, I'm going to look at it, and you've seen Calexico play a couple of times. I've had the opportunity to see El Centro play. And, they played a very tough Palm Desert team. As you remember, a lot of the Valley teams used to play that league over there. And from one of the teams, I'd have to see, Mater Dei still being one of the top. That Palm Desert was very good, very fast, and very deep at all positions. Got to give credit to El Centro on that part. going toe-to-toe with them down there. And a couple of mistakes cost him. Talking to Coach Rocky Pena, he's fixed those mistakes. You know, he had a bye to reflect and everything. And, yeah, he wants to come out. He does think that Calexico is a contender. He does think. But he also feels that he's in a good position, too. Their schedule is very tough to begin with, and they want to start, you know, it's a league game. Look, everybody's going to be up. They're going to be home. Calexico's going to be home. Hey, I'm sure everybody's pumped up for that game.
And, you know, the schedule that Central had in the preseason was a tough schedule. I mean, they played some really tough teams. On the other hand, Calexico's teams were not as tough. That may give you a false sense of security when they come into league. So, you know, but then that builds their confidence after coming up an 0-9 season and then a 1-4 season during the COVID spring. So you know what? As long as their confidence is up, it's a mental game.
Yes.
Yeah, but you can't rule out the fact that Central's been the champion of the Imperial Valley League 4 consecutive years. Though they lost 28 seniors on that varsity, Rookie Pena has reloaded. They have 2 outstanding quarterbacks that have been groomed during the preseason in Hernandez and Rodriguez, along with a flashy running back in Robinson, Isaiah Robinson. And so they're going to give Calexico a handful because they run a no-huddle spread offense based on concepts, John. They utilize the passing tree, they look deep first, and then the quarterback will check back, and they have the defenses on their heels. And they've blitzed Calexico the last 4 years, just raining touchdown passes on them. And I don't see that not continuing tomorrow night.
And
Calexico is vastly improved with the quarterback play of David Esquer and Abraham Sasueta, and the addition of the running back, Ernie Sanchez. If he's healthy, if he's fully recovered from his ankle injury, that'll keep the Central defense honest and at bay. And don't forget and don't rule out Andrew Rivera. So it's going to be a good matchup. I'm excited about announcing tomorrow night's game on VSN Network Live, John.
Well, without a doubt, this is Central's weakest game, and this is Calexico's strongest game. So we'll see what the matchup tomorrow night looks like from Willis Ward Field, and we'll be coming to you live from the Chocolate Mountains to the Sea of Cortez, all along the border on a Friday night, where we'll go down to Calexico High School for the Calexico Central First League opener.
So we're not saying goodnight yet. We're waiting for an interview from downstairs. We're gonna go with the live interview downstairs. But VSN, Will Torres, John Moreno will be right back. Don't leave us. Stay tuned. VSN will be right back.
Whether you're looking to purchase or sell, your next home awaits. Give the Dom team a call. With over 50 years of experience and over 100 years in the Imperial Valley, Andy and Doug can help you find the right home at the right price fast. Visit us online at www.thedomteam.com and let Andrew and Doug find the perfect home for you. Call today, 760-337-8600.
We're here with Imperial head coach David Shaw after the thrilling 14-8 victory over the Holtville Vikings here on Thursday Night Football. Coach, thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you, Jen.
About 6 months ago, you guys played Holtville back at home. Similar outcome, you won 14-6 then, 14-8 tonight. Talk about the perseverance of your team coming into a hostile environment and winning this huge rivalry game.
Yeah, you know what, man? Jason Turner, man, he has a great team, man, and we knew we were going to be in for a dogfight. They took the opening kickoff back, and they were up 8-0 before we can even get settled in our seats, right? But I was just very proud of our kids for holding steady on that. We were able to move the ball on them, but we weren't finishing drives. So I was very happy and proud of my kids for having the perseverance, man, to push through.
Talk about that defense once again. Like you said, the only score you allowed was that opening kickoff. And obviously their offense runs through the Iden brothers. You were able to contain them, especially on that last stop to ultimately ice the game. Talk about how your defense played a key role in you guys securing this victory.
Yeah, you know what, Coach Victor Cruz Jr., man, he had a great game plan. And I thought all 11 kids, they all contributed tonight on defense. And it took all of them, man, because like I said, that offense is tough to deal with. The hard part about that offense, it's tough to replicate in practice. So these guys are big, man, and they, the Iden brothers can run, and gosh, what's his name, 22, the quarterback, man, he's Hilfiger, man, he's a load, man, he's tough to bring down. So I was very happy with the way our defense, they got stout when they needed to.
Coach, going into next week, you have Brawley, your first league matchup. This game gives your team a whole bunch of momentum and a lot of confidence going into that highly touted matchup. What's going to be this week? What are you going to preach this week to your team?
Yeah, you know what, man? We got to finish plays, man. We left some scores out there, as you guys can see. We did leave scores out there. We got to make plays. Brawley is always tough, man, and they're tough again this year. And they're always going to be tough, and our kids are going to be ready to play them. They're going to be excited to play them, and we gotta prep, man. We gotta prep, and we gotta take care of things on our end and finish plays.
Coach, thank you. Congratulations on the big win.
Thank you.
Will, back to you.
Welcome back, everybody. Great ball game, guys, gentlemen. Just a great ball game. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for filling in for my partner, Ron Rubio. But, Holtville, like we talked about earlier, still positive. Imperial, came through at the very end. I thought Holtville, they did what they wanted to do, come out here and do. It's just, whoever had the ball at the end, we talked about earlier, was probably going to win the game. That's the type of game it was. What are your thoughts on the game, John?
Well, I think both teams played an excellent ball game. There was a lot of minimizing of mistakes, but for the most part, it was smash mouth, old school football that just pounded and grounded, and that's what we like to see sometimes. We did have some moments of exuberance and excellence with that kickoff return, the first play of the game, and that really set the tone.
Yeah. So, and on another note, Burgers and Beer and VSN would like to announce they're going to give out a gift certificate to a player of the game, and to announce that player of the game is none other than Vic Carrillo.
Well, thank you. This was a very well played game. It exemplified the tradition that's been held over 100 years between these two rivals, Imperial and Holtville, and there were many players that could have been selected, but tonight that honor goes to C.J. Turner, the do-everything football player for the Imperial Tigers. And I say football player because he played running back, he played wide receiver, and more importantly, in the closing minutes of the ball game, he played quarterback, and he led them to the final score of the ball game to eke out a narrow victory, 14-8.
So congratulations to CJ, and that's leadership, a lot of leadership in that. So from Will Torres, Vic Carrillo, Johnny Mo Moreno, good night, everybody. Drive safe, be good.